Top stories in this edition of the WINN TV News. Did the Labour Party attempt to cling on to power after the elections? Election candidate Donald Powell says he's willing to work with the Labour candidate for the interest of Central Bastille. I am Jamie Morris, and this is the WINN TV News. Our first story. Did the events immediately following the general elections translate into an attempt by the Labour Party to cling to power at all cost? Some Team Unity supporters have suggested that was the case. More in this report.
They cite the Supervisor of Elections Wingrove judge unexpectedly stopping the announcing of the election results on election night and what was perceived as the very slow transition from the former government to that of Team Unity as evidence of an orchestrated attempt by Dr. Douglas to remain at the helm. However, the former Prime Minister denied this when asked about the matter at his party's news conference on Thursday.
I take very, very strong objection to that allegation. The Supervisor of Election, his action, I cannot condone and I cannot give any explanation to this press conference at all. I've heard what he said. I can only repeat it. But you mentioned a slow transition. I don't know what you mean. If you yourself said that the Supervisor of Election had not announced to the nation that there was a concluded election result, I don't know what would anyone else expect us to do.
According to Dr. Douglas, Team Unity's Timothy Harris and a prominent lawyer he did not name were attempting to tarnish his reputation. There clearly was a level of uncertainty in the country immediately following the national poll, with the full results not yet officially announced. The morning after the poll, however, Team Unity supporters took to the streets in celebration, with the officials explaining that they were sure they had won 6 seats and counting. Later that Tuesday morning, Dr. Timothy Harris gave what was described as a victory speech at his grouping's party headquarters. Supervisor of Elections judge confirmed by that Tuesday evening that the PAM PLP CCM grouping had won 7 of the 11 seats, with the Labour Party NRP taking the other 4. Dr. Timothy Harris was sworn in as Prime Minister on the evening of the following day, Wednesday.
Election candidate Donald Powell says he's willing to work with the Labour candidate who defeated him in the interest of helping develop constituency number 2. The seat was won by the SKNLP's Marcella Liebert.
Although Powell lost his seat, the three-party coalition of which he is a part won the general election and now forms the new government. The young attorney, who put up a spirited fight during the election campaign in his bid to grab constituency number 2 from Liebert, says he remains keenly interested in bringing progress to Central Bastille and is willing to work with a parliamentary representative to ensure that happens.
Definitely, of course. I mean, it's not about me. It's bigger than me. It's bigger than myself. It's about the people of the constituency of Central Bastille. And so I am open to work with her with anything as long as it's in the interest of the people.
Meanwhile, Labour Party's Liebert, speaking at the SKNLP's first news conference since the February 16 general election, said the new government had lost several opportunities to bring the country together because it had embarked on a path of victimization.
That this new government and this new Prime Minister had an excellent opportunity to bring the country together, but lost it. Instead of extending a hand of friendship at the very beginning, having been elected, what we have is a path of vindictiveness, animosity, and victimization. So it's a lost opportunity. When your first act after an election is to send police to lock out workers out of their offices, then you know that is an act of vindictiveness and victimization and an opportunity that's missed and an opportunity that is lost. When on the first day, the first work day, you invite your party activists into government headquarters to humiliate, disrespect, and intimidate public servants, then you know that that is an opportunity that's lost. And up to now, there has been no apology. There's nothing to reprimand, so it is thoroughly condoned.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is WINN FM.
WINN FM's mission is to contribute meaningfully to the information, awareness, and the development of our nation and the region through the building of educated and informed communities. WINN FM faces the issues squarely, without shying away from controversy, while striving continuously to provide balanced, responsible reporting.
Better music, better talk, better radio. 98.9 WINN FM.
Welcome back. Leader of the opposition United Workers' Party, UWP of St. Lucia, Alan Chastanet, is lending his support to the Team Unity government.
In an interview with WINN after the ceremony, Mr. Chastanet suggested that Team Unity's victory was a victory for democracy, referring to the just over 2-year-old motion of no confidence that was avoided by the previous administration.
It was a fantastic win. It was a great message for the rest of the Caribbean that morality will always prevail over economics.
Now, the motion of no confidence was a major point in this election. It's been ongoing for almost 2.5 years. Do you think this played a major role in this election?
I think it was one of the contributing factors, and that's why I'm so disappointed in the Prime Minister of my own country, that when he invited Prime Minister then Denzel Douglas to come and be his keynote speaker, and how long it's taken him to even make any past comments what's taking place. And that's why I felt it was so important to come here and to say to all the Kitishans that St. Lucia is behind them. We're very proud of the fact that they chose democracy and the rule of law. And I agree with what the pastor said. I think it's time that they meet constitutional review in order to enforce these things, because it's the same situation we're going back at home, where there's the spirit of the Constitution and not enough is being done to give credence and strength to that spirit.
Finally, why do you think the region was more or less quiet on the motion of no confidence issue in particular?
Unfortunately, there's a lot of Labour Party governments in office, and everybody is always very fearful to say anything. And there were voices there, but unfortunately the voices just were not loud enough. And I think probably the weakest voices was in the CARICOM level. Both of the CARICOM Secretariat and the OACS Secretariat. These are independent voices, and we have expected more leadership role from them. And even though they are the governments that they have to work with, what is right is right. And we must always do the right thing. But hopefully this will be a lesson. And even in hoping that Prime Minister Harris now, when he gets in, will start pushing for reform at the OACS level and even at the CARICOM level to make sure that the rule of law, democracy, and our constitutions are being adhered to.
Now, in terms of the UWP, what relationship are you hoping to forge with this current government?
Well, we have a very good relationship with PAM because we are part of the IDU, the International Democratic Union, and we're now rehashing the Caribbean Democratic Union. But and seeing in Dr. Harris a lot of the ideas that we also have, and hopefully we can sit down and share them, because we're hoping that we'll be in government very soon and that we can try to transform the OECS and the CARICOM, because I can assure you what is going on now is not working, and there has to be reform, and we have to not be scared of making the changes.
This has been the WINN TV News. I am Jamie Morris.